Our second video, let's take a look at the Cards tab. These are going to be all of the cards from the game, which includes the originally printed by Ice cards through the Balrog, as well as all of the Dream cards and additionals. You can look at these by the set. Well, right now we have only release turned on. Let's click that so that we can look at all of the cards. And here are all of the sets. Many of these are Dream card sets. For example, we can look at the Northern Waste. And these are going to be all of the Dream cards from the set, the Northern Waste. Now you can refine this by using these pull downs. So for example, these are all of the characters. We could further refine that and just look at hero. You can also search for a card. So Lucky pulls up this Dream card as well as 2 cards from the first set. Deck Builder. Deck Builder is going to be where all of your decks are loaded. When you join the site, you're going to get all of the challenge decks preloaded. Plus, there will even be Dream card challenge decks that you can check out. So, right now, the Stewards of Gondor is the deck that I have selected. As I choose different decks, they're going to appear over here on the right. They're broken down by types of cards. You're going to have a pool of characters for your starting draft. You're going to have characters that are going to go in the deck. You're going to have resources and hazards. And you're going to have a sideboard. When you hover over these card names, you'll also get a pop-up that shows you an image of the card, which is very helpful if you're trying to figure out if a particular card requires a skill or something like that. Now, editing a deck. We're going to go through the exercise, but I'm not going to save this because I'd like to keep the challenge decks in their original formation. But if you were going to edit this deck, you go over here and hit the edit button. That moves everything over so that you've got your deck list, and you've also got these 6 boxes of text, which is where the card lists are going to appear. So let's say we wanted to change the number of dark quarrels in this deck. Right now we've got 30 resources and 30 hazards, but let's say we wanted a 3rd dark quarrels in there for some reason. You've got plus and minus buttons that will increase or decrease the number of cards for that card name. So we could take it up to 3 cards, which would change it to 31 resources, in which case we'd need to take our hazards up somehow as well. We could add another Brigands, and there's 31. Now if you go down, be careful if you go down too far, because that card will disappear from the list. Now here's how you add a card to the list. You can come over here to the Add Cards bar and start typing a name. Brigands comes up if I type Brig. So do Hauberk of Bright Mail and the Bright Gold Ring, but we want Brigands. So I'm going to click that and it finishes typing the name. I can choose how many copies of this I want in my deck. Let's say 2. And when I click add it to the deck, it's going to appear over here on the list. So there it is. Now you'll notice some of these, let me find a card here. Okay, so the Bjornings. This is the hero version. There is a minion version as well. When you type a card and add it to one of these boxes, it's going to come with a couple of little pieces of information on the end. Let's look at Radagast down here. That's a good example. Radagast is in my deck pool, or is in my characters that are going straight into my deck. There's 3 copies of Radagast. Here he is down here in the list. 3 copies of Radagast. We're using the hero version from the Wizards. So there are 2 pieces of information that will appear possibly after a card's name. One that's always going to show up is going to be in parentheses, and that's going to be the set that this card comes from. So there's the Wizards, there's the Dragons, there's Dark Minions, Lidless Eye. So again, these will just have the initials of the set that they came from. Radagast, let's take a look at Radagast. Let's change how many cards we have. Let's remove him from this deck. And now let's add him back in. So Radagast, we start typing Radagast. We choose Radagast from the list. We choose 3 copies. And we add him to the deck. Now, there's a default setting in the program, and you'll see that it changed Radagast from the hero version to the fallen version. That is indicated over here in the text box where it says F for fallen and WH for white hand. So if I want to change this back to the hero version, instead of typing F in the brackets, I'm going to type H for hero, and I'm going to type TW for the Wizards, and that changes him back to the hero version. That's something you'll need to do when you're building a deck. If you type a wizard in, it's going to appear first as the fallen wizard, and you're going to have to fix him.